Stephen A., in all seriousness, though, he said there's a ton of injuries. What should Gronk do now?
Listen, money aside, because obviously, you know what, if you have an opportunity to make an exorbitant amount of dollars and to take care of yourself and your family for the future, you know, that's the obvious answer. But for me personally, shoving aside money, I just think that from a health perspective, what he brings to the table, clearly we saw some regression to some degree, probably mainly due to health. If I were him, I'd walk away. He's won multiple Super Bowl championships. He's been a part of this team for many years. You know, he's doing some things off the field that people have praised him for. So he's been taking care of himself. He's still marketable. I think if Gronk wanted to get a job in television making millions for years to come, he's somebody that has the capability of pull it off, particularly with his credentials. He'll go down as one of, if not the greatest tight end in the history of football, at least from a talent perspective, if not numbers, of course. And so I look at it from that perspective, and I say, hey, this is what it is. This is what it comes down to. There's really not much more for him to accomplish. And I think the only reason he would be playing is to be alongside Brady. He has nothing left to prove. I think that, you know, I'm not trying to be in his pockets in terms of money, but assuming he doesn't need the money, from a career perspective, I think he's done all that he can do. And I think from a health standpoint, it only goes downhill from here for him. I'd walk away.
Look, I would have said that Gronk should have walked away last year. But this guy is the greatest tight end of all time. I'm sorry. There's no one I'd rather have at that position than Gronk. He doesn't get separation anymore, but he has size, hands, heart, toughness, technique. He's still a great football player. He can still make those catches when you need him to just because of his size and his hands. And he's a tremendous blocker. And the other thing is he's like a clutch blocker. Mm-hmm. Like when you need your tight end to block with the fate of the universe on the line, this dude gets it done.
Clutch pass catcher, too.
No question. He's just clutch. And it really comes down to how much he cares about his health going forward and the effects that this kind of punishment will have on him. But in terms of how effective he can be, he's not exactly the same kind of player anymore. What he does has changed a bit, but he's still, forget about fantasy stats. In terms of tight ends you'd want on your team, he's still elite, just not as much of like a pass-catching sensation as he once was, but still a winning football player. How concerned is he about his health? Does he still want to run through those brick walls? And does he think it's wise to do it for his long-term future? It comes down to him. He's still a highly effective player.
You know, as a former player, I've always said, you know, as far as players are concerned, play as long as you want. But in this particular case, I know with Gronk is, you know, has been pretty good with his money from everything that I've heard. And I think Gronk will be well served to transition to television. I mean, this is a guy that it just seems like from all what everyone has said that this guy could make a lot of money in Hollywood. Gronk has had multiple injuries, whether it's multiple back surgeries, knee, forearm. And the one thing I worry about being a former player is the quality of life. These things tend to take its course, or things tend to go down here as you get older. And I would hate to see for Gronk to just continue to hold on for a little bit more playing the game when he doesn't have to. His legacy is cemented. Gronk is going to be in the Hall of Fame as one of the best tight ends that we've ever seen play the game of football. He's a multiple-time champion with the New England Patriots. So just for the betterment of his health, I would like to see him transition out.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all on the same page. We're all on the same page with that. But I do think, even though, you know, look, it's with Gronk, it's not really head trauma that I'm concerned about. Sometimes in a combat sport, for instance, a guy can still fight and can still get it done, even if he's a little diminished, and you worry about things like brain damage. It's the rest of his body, you know, like, and that's up. He really has to decide. Is his legacy. I mean, obviously making money, but Stephen A., you're absolutely right. He can make millions doing different things because he's such a personality.
Maybe The Rock, that kind of guy. But I know that's big shoes to fill.
But his legacy, like, does he still have a love for the game? Like, it's fair to say, you know, in America, you can make these choices for yourself, right? That if Gronk's like, you know what, and I may pay for this later, but damn it, I'm only young once. I can only play in the NFL once, and I still have passion. I'm not done with this yet. I want to do it some more until they rip the uniform off me. Even if I have to pay a physical price later, I would support him doing that as a fan because he can still do it.